Welcome back, everybody, to day 2. Our goal for today, given a word problem, you will be able to draw a picture, set up the equation, and then solve. All right, so let's take a look here. Day 2 notes. So here are your steps for word problems. First thing, put your pencil or pen down. Read the question all the way through to determine how many let statements are needed, or draw a picture. Write out your let statements or draw a picture. Reread the question and look for the key word that will tell you how to set up an equation. Write the equation, solve, and write out all solutions. All right, let's go ahead and try this out. So, number 1, first, put down your pencil and just read. The length of a rectangular garden is 4 meters more than its width. The area of the garden is 60 square meters. Find the dimensions of the rectangle. Okay, so let's think about this. What are we trying to solve for? We're trying to find the dimensions, and the dimensions are the length and the width. All right, so for this one, we are going to have to solve for the length and the width, so there's 2 things. But they're telling us the length in terms of the width. So we don't need 2 let statements, we only need 1. But in this case, I'm actually going to draw a picture instead of writing out my let statements. So here's my rectangular garden. The length of the rectangular garden is 4 meters more than its width. So it does not describe the width at all, so my width is going to be W. Now we got to figure out what the length is. The length of the rectangular garden is 4 meters more. So more, this means that we're going to add. So we're going to add the width plus 4. Okay, so now we're going to reread the question and look for the key word. So let's reread the question and everybody see if you can find the key word. So there it is. It's going to be area. And that's going to help us set up an equation because we know that the area is equal to length times width. Okay, so now let's figure it out. So the area is 60. So underneath the word area, I'm going to put 60 is equal to the length. We know the length is W plus 4. And then the width is just W. So now we just have to solve. So over here, if our parentheses are touching, we're going to multiply. So I'm going to distribute the W into the parentheses. So we're going to get 60 is equal to W squared plus 4W. And look at that. My W is to the second power. If it's to the second power, that means you're going to have 2 solutions. All right, so remember, if you have 2 solutions, we're going to set this whole thing equal to 0 because then we can factor and solve. So I'm going to transpose the 60 to the other side. We get 0 is equal to W squared plus 4W minus 60. And now if we remember from yesterday's lesson, now that we have it equal to 0, we're going to factor it out. So I'm going to use my trinomial factoring here because we have 3 terms and there's no GCF. W, now we have to think of 2 numbers that multiply to negative 60 and add to 4. So if this doesn't come simple to you, you're going to type in negative 60 divided by 2. It doesn't work. Negative 60 divided by 4. Okay, but the difference there is too big. So negative 60 divided by 6. Ooh, so 6 and 10 will work, which I want the 4 to be positive, so it's going to be plus 10 minus 6. And now we've got it. All right, so after you factor it, and then we're going to tee it up. All right, and we set both parts equal to 0. And then we're going to solve for W. So here we're going to get W is equal to negative 10, and over here we're going to get W is equal to 6. Now, this is the width. W stands for the width. Now, can you have a negative width of a shape? So no, you can't measure a rectangle and get negative. So we're going to cross that out and we're going to write the word omit. Okay, we're omitting that. It's not a correct or valid option because the side of a shape can never be negative. So that means our width is equal to 6, and our units are meters. Okay, so now, are we done yet? Not quite. It says find the dimensions of the rectangle. So dimensions mean your length and your width. So that means our length is going to be, so let's come down here, W plus 4. So that means it's going to be 6 plus 4, which gives us 10. So it's going to be 10 meters. And we've now found both of our dimensions. Okay, so let's flip it over. We're going to try 2 more examples for today. So our next one, number 2. A right triangle has a height of 4 inches more than its base. If the area of the triangle is 60 square inches, find the base and the height of the triangle. Okay, so for this one, we're trying to find 2 things, the base and the height. However, they're describing one in terms of the other, so we do not need 2 variables here. It's just going to be one. Instead of let statements, I'm going to draw a picture. So it is a right triangle, so make sure you draw a right triangle. The height, that is 4 inches more than its base. So everything is in terms of the base. So I'm going to put B for the base, and the height is 4 inches more, so that's going to be B plus 4 is going to be my height. Now, if I reread the question, the key word that they give us to help us solve, once again, is the word area. But this time it's the area of a triangle. So area of a triangle, we have to remember that formula is 1/2 base times height. Okay, so now that we have that, we can plug in our information. So the area is 30, so 30 goes under the word area, equals 1/2. Now our base we put as B, and our height we have as B plus 4. Okay, so now we can go ahead. Now I don't like having a fraction in front of here. So remember, we can always move the fraction to the opposite side by multiplying by the reciprocal. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. Because here the 1/2 and the 2 are going to cancel. Okay, and then I'm going to get 60 is equal to, and then I'm going to distribute that B into the parentheses here. So I'm going to get B squared plus 4B. Now once again, my B is to the second power, which means I'm going to have 2 answers here. If I have 2 answers, I set the whole thing equal to 0, and then I can factor and solve. So I'm going to subtract 60. 0 is equal to B squared plus 4B minus 60. All right, and hopefully this is looking a little bit similar to the one we just did on the front. So 2 numbers that multiply to negative 60 and add to 10, well, that's going to be positive 10 and negative 6. And then we tee it up. We get B plus 10 equals 0, B minus 6 equals 0, and then we solve for both. So here we're going to get B is equal to negative 10, and here we get B is equal to 6. But now remember, B stands for the base. Can the side of a triangle ever be negative? Nope, so we cross that out and we write omit. So now I know B is equal to 6, but they want the base and the height we know is B plus 4. So if we plug that in, it's going to be 6 plus 4, which then equals 10. So that means the base is equal to 6, and the height is equal to 10. And we have it. All right, we're going to continue down now to question 3. Now the first thing you need to do is fix this in your notes, because your notes have 130 here, and this has to be 110 in order for it to work out. So go ahead and switch that up. All right, so here's question number 3. You expanded your square kitchen by increasing the length by 5 feet and the width by 6 feet. So we're starting with a square kitchen. We have X and X, because it's a square, they're all the same. Okay, and it says we're going to increase the length by 5 feet and the width by 6 feet. The area of your new kitchen is 110 square feet. Find the dimensions of your original kitchen. So we want to try to find the value of X. So here's what we have to do. We have to create a new kitchen. Okay, so this new kitchen is going to increase the length and the width. And we're going to increase the length by 5 feet. So the length was x, so now it's going to be x plus 5. And we're going to increase the width by 6 feet. So now our width is going to be x plus 6. Okay, now the key word they gave us here is, once again, area. So we know area is equal to length times width. So now we're going to fill it in. So the area is 110. We know the length is x plus 5 and x plus 6. So now we're going to go ahead, we're going to use our long distribution and we're going to simplify that side. Oops, so 110 is equal to x squared plus 6x plus 5x plus 30. So 110 is equal to x squared plus 11x plus 30. So then we have x to the second power, so there's two answers. Two answers, we set the whole thing equal to 0. So we subtract over the 110, and we get 0 is equal to x squared plus 11x minus, so let's take a look, 30 minus 110, and we're going to get negative 80. Okay, so now we have to factor this. So we go to parentheses, x and x. So we have to find two numbers that multiply to negative 80 and add to 11. So let's go 80 divided by 10. Well, that's going to have a difference of 2, so that's not going to work. 80 divided by 15. Nope. How about 80 divided by 5? Ooh, look at that. And the difference is 11. So it's going to be x plus 16, x minus 5, and then we tee it up. So we get x plus 16 equals 0. X minus 5 equals 0, so we get x to be equal to negative 16, and x equals 5. Now, once again, we're talking about the sides of a shape, so we have to omit the negative, and we found x to be equal to 5. So the question says find the dimensions of the original kitchen, which is the x's, so it's going to be 5 feet by 5 feet. So that's your length and your width. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we just tried 3 questions together, so what you're going to do next is you're going to flip the page over, and you have your video number 2. You're going to have 1, 2, 3 questions that you're going to try on your own, so complete each question, turn in at the beginning of class tomorrow. Have a great night.